Well, it's just a funny little show. These sisters are putting on a benefit to raise some money because most of their order has died of some poison soup. And they've got to bury them. They've still got 4 of them left in the freezer because they've run out of money. So they're putting on a talent show with nuns who are not used to performing. So it gets to be very interesting.
And something very special about this show are the directors, who worked together when the St. Johnsbury Players last performed it in 1994.
I was in nun since 24 years ago. I was the novice, the would-be ballerina, Sister Leo, and Michelle was my director at that time. So it is just a joy to be here 24 years later and be collaborating on this show, which was just a delight to do then, and we're having so much fun now.
Pat and I have a long history together. Of course, we went to school. We're both Linden graduates. And my husband, who's also the band director, is a Linden graduate. And we've done musical theater together for years.
Pat and Michelle talked highly of many aspects of the production, emphasizing in particular the joy that they've had working with this group of talented women.
You know, there's something special about working with just a small group, and on top of that, a small group of just women. We've had a lot of laughs because we can all laugh together. We laugh at each other. We laugh at the story. So it's been a good time.
We're just having fun. Don't film that.
Well, we just hope that people will come out and have a wonderful time. I mean, isn't that the point, you know? At the beginning, they sing a blessing about happy hearts. I looked up the Latin today, and I just thought, well, isn't that the whole point of something like this? You know, bringing people into a room, live performance, and just making people happy. So that's our aim.
Rachel Johnson, News 7, St. Johnsbury.
So I'm sitting here actually reading a book that I want to get some ideas for my math in the elementary school course out of this. So I spend preparing time, obviously teaching time, working with students, which is probably the time I most enjoy. In my life, I enjoy the arts, and I think mathematics, particularly the type of mathematics I'm involved in, more the pure math, it's very much an art. I'm not particularly musical, but I do enjoy dance. It's not always one thing or the other. To be well-rounded in different parts of your life contribute to other parts.
I'm Daisy McCoy, and I'm the facilitator of this circle, usually with Diana Moore.
I'm Rhonda Coral, here to talk to you about sacred circle dancing.
Circle dance is sort of an extension of international dance. It's some very traditional dances and some new dances that we have been recently choreographed to all sorts of musics from all around the world. I went to a workshop and I just loved this dance, Sailing to Paros, and nobody over in Vermont knew this dance, so I knew if I was going to get to dance it, I had to teach it. So I learned it, I practiced and practiced and practiced, so I learned it so I could teach it. And then it became my dance, and anywhere I went, I was the one that always had to teach it.
16 side steps, we just side.
Yes, I practiced by myself. Last night I was working on some of these dances.
This was Rhonda's debut as a circle dance teacher? Yes.
The hand movements make meaning, you know, like the one we were doing earlier, the earth and sky, sea and stone. So the hand motions go with the words.
Circle dancing is cool. You feel connected, you feel peaceful, you feel full of energy. Mostly I like it because the music is so beautiful and it connects you to all these different cultures and all these different times. So you can imagine people back in like the 800s like doing these like beautiful, mystical, ancient dancing, you know, like around a fire, and just you can just transport yourself to all these different kind of cultures and times of life, history. Oh, Daisy's awesome. Daisy's a really good teacher because she's patient and she's kind and she wants everyone to love circle dancing. So yeah, Daisy definitely got me to love it.
It's wonderful to have a group, and as we say, you know, there are no mistakes, only variations. It's not about perfection and show, it's about dancing for yourself and dancing and being part of the community.
2+, we'll slow down, be easier to look at in a minute. These are 2-year-old brown trout in this tank. That's what these are. It's a slow spring. I just heard on the radio this morning from Mark Breen that this is the coldest April in 40 years. I believe it. I wasn't farming 40 years ago, so I don't have a recollection, but it's been a very slow season to start. I still have snow on the ground here at my house. Everything is too wet to do anything in the fields. I mean, there's some years. There are some years with an early spring I've already transplanted onions by now, you know, in some years, and they're still in the greenhouse. And like I say, I start the onion transplants from seed back in March in the house, and I move them out to the greenhouse. And then when it gets warm enough, I move them out on benches outside, and they get hardened off, and then I transplant them on the ground. And like I say, at this point, they're still in the greenhouse. They're not even outside yet. The plants don't do well, and if it's cold and wet and that type of stuff. So, but you have to prepare the fields, even though, you know, in the fall I do things that they're somewhat prepared, but they still have to be cultivated and prepared in order to put them in the ground, and you can't do that when you've got, you know, ankle-deep mud, which is what a lot of my fields are at the moment. Listening to the weather report this morning, they said it's supposed to be up in the 70s by Wednesday, and if that comes true and we get a few days like that, you know, a week from now I could be, you know, out there planting, or if it doesn't go as predicted and it stays cold, it might be 2 weeks before I get out there. Some seasons are early, some seasons are slow. This is a slow season, it's a late season. It's just the way it goes.
Well, we have bikes donated from all over New England, from different places. Students can come and pick out a bike, maybe needs some adjustment, maybe needs a new chain.
We'll just get it kind of on there.
Might need a little more work than that. Right there? Yep. And they learn how to repair all the parts and do it hands-on themselves. And then when they finish repairing it and it's safe to ride, they get to take it home and it gets to be their bike. It takes about 5 sessions to repair a bike and get it ready to go home. Bicycles are sustainable. You don't have to have fuel or gasoline to run them. You get to use your own body to power them. And in this community, we have so many opportunities for biking. We have biking at Linden Institute, their trails, the Kingdom Trails, and the whole network and the infusion of bike interest, I think, has really inspired me to create more opportunities for more people to get on a bicycle.
Feels good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm a math coach for the school district, and I just love working with kids and bringing bikes to the community and helping people get on the trails and ride more, and also recycling these bikes that have come from all over New England that might have ended up otherwise not being used or left in someone's garage, and now they're getting used again. Based on their quality, how they're going to be used in the program.
I think the Learning and Earning program at Link has been great for the kids. They've been so engaged, more engaged than I've ever seen them in building their bikes, and they're learning how to, they're working with their hands, they're learning how to do that, and I think that's the kind of learning that really engages them.
I found out about this bike program by doing a couple other programs through my school and signing up for the after school program, which I don't go to daily, but there was a couple of teachers that started talking about it, and I got interested and asked if I can join in.
What's your name here?
Mason. Mason? And this is your bike?
Yeah.
They're learning well. I mean, it's the first time they've ever
worked on stuff like that, or they haven't worked on it too much. So it's kind of just figuring out like what screw does what, and making sure not to tighten it too much.
There.